Yeah, I think the big picture is this. I mean, you mentioned it already, but from the lows in March to the high in June, semiconductors were up about 90%. So it blew away everything else. And I think the results that we're seeing more recently are still saying that we need more of a cooling period overall for semiconductors. I will note, though, even with some of those semiconductors down today, the broad tech sector is actually up today, and semiconductor index is up. So as we take a step back, we are still positive on tech and AI longer term. I mean, the positive is this. I mean, we had this 2-month ramp. We've reset valuations and sentiment quite a bit for the broader group, and we're seeing some internal rotation within technology. But as an example, the premium for tech relative to the market at the recent lows went to one of the lowest levels we've seen the last decade. So again, bottom line is we still think that there's upside to this trade, but it's going to be a bit bumpy.
Positive on tech, but then if you're getting questions from investors today about whether they should take some money off the table, would you be telling them yes, it's time to do so? Maybe does the story get better than this for these storage and memory names?
Yeah, I think the way I would approach it, I think that technology, the sector as a whole, just had about a 14% correction. When we look back at this bull market, this is the 5th correction that we've seen. So we think there's been a reset. I would say I think there's probably better areas to be than some of these, at least on a short-term basis, than some of these memory and even semiconductor areas. As an example, we still are positive on the bigger cap tech names. We're seeing today, as an example, some of the hyperscalers do well. And I think what we learned last week during the earnings season is a lot of these hyperscalers are growing revenues at 20% plus. Their cloud business are growing more than double that. And they're trading close to a market multiple with stronger growth. So I still think there's broader, upside for the group. But again, maybe a rest in some of these areas that were overheated earlier.
According to Kenneth Griffin's Citadel Playbook, Nvidia is a buy at $221.88. Tesla is a sell at $325.76. And Meta Platforms is a hold at $593.82. The three megacaps have drastically different scores on Griffin's $60 billion multi-strategy funds scorecard, which is based on liquidity, dominance, and clean risk-reward. The AI industry is based on all three of these. Tesla is the most speculative investment on robots and autonomy. Meta is the biggest AI advertising monetizer, and Nvidia sells picks and shovels. The difference between growth and the cost of it is what sets them apart. The Griffin Playbook fits Nvidia. The simplest basic configuration is Nvidia. With data center revenue of $75.25 billion plus 92%, and a non-GAAP gross margin of 75%, Q1 FY27 revenue reached $81.62 billion, up 85.2% YOY. The board added a $80 billion repurchase to the $48.55 billion free cash flow. The multiple is not stretched in relation to the 214% quarterly profits growth at a trailing PE of 32 and a projected PE of 23. Businesses where earnings compound more quickly than repeated expansions are rewarded under Griffin's style. Nvidia is eligible. The reasons behind Tesla's failure on the risk screen. Although Tesla's Q2 FY26 revenue increased by 7.10%, its non-GAAP EPS of $0.33 fell short by 38.51%. Free cash flow turned negative to $1.09 billion. Operating margin fell to 1.4%, and capital expenditures increased 41.8% year over year. The forward PE is 159, while the trailing PE is 295. By year's end, Polymarket gives Optimus shipping an only 14.5% chance. Owning that risk is less lucrative for a quantitatively motivated allocator than hedging it. The reason Meta is caught in the middle. With a trailing PE of 22 and a forward PE of 19, Meta is the least expensive of the three, with 3.60 billion daily active users and a 27% increase in ad income. At a fair multiple, that is a real moat. However, CAPEX reached $30.12 billion, free cash flow collapsed 91.31% to $784 million, and Q2 FY26 EPS of $6.18 missed by 14.42%. Conviction is capped until AI CAPEX demonstrates a ROI signal, with full-year CapEx estimate of $130 to $145 billion plus $2.40 billion in litigation charges. The three verdicts numbers. With an analyst target of $302.83 and a nearly 36% estimated upside, Nvidia is currently trading at $221.88. 58 out of 61 analysts recommend it as a buy or strong buy. The split is 23 buy or strong buy against 18 hold and 6 sell or strong sell. Although Tesla is currently trading at $325.76 with a $397.87 target and about 22% potential upside. With a target of $768.58 and an implied upside of over 29%, Meta is currently trading at $593.82, and 55 out of 62 analysts are optimistic. Nvidia has gained 13.78% so far this year, closely matching the 13.11% increase of the S&P 500. Meta is down 10.78%, and Tesla is down 27.21%, both of which are falling sharply. Nvidia is a buy at $221.88. Gross margins are growing towards 75%, earnings are compounding more quickly than the multiple, and Q2 FY27 forecast predicts $91 billion in revenue. A hyperscaler CapEx pause is the invalidation signal. In the absence of that, Nvidia is the best car in the AI industry. Tesla is a sell at $325.76. The negative side of the risk-reward ratio is represented by a trailing PE of 295, 1.4% operating margins, and negative free cash flow. The call could be reversed by robotaxi or Optimus execution. The current pricing already takes both into account. Meta is a hold at $593.82. The pricing is appealing, but it makes sense to wait for a quarter that demonstrates the $130 to $145 billion capital expenditure bill is generating incremental returns until free cash flow stabilizes and the litigation overhang clears. The payback calculation still has to be presented in a print quarter, but the dominance is real. Thanks in part to Elon Musk's space exploration technologies announcement that it will only employ Nvidia GPUs, Nvidia is back at the top of the market cap rankings. That is a significant victory for Jensen Huang and a major setback to its competitors. In my opinion, the most important question is whether SpaceX will be the only mega-cap giant to go exclusive to Nvidia and what the benefits will be. It's true that Nvidia has the best technology in the world, and until that changes, maybe the $5.3 trillion behemoth has what it takes to win over other companies. Now that the Vera Rubin era has begun, it appears that Nvidia stock has everything it takes to make a full-fledged bull market comeback. The next Rubin GPU is expected to be very popular. That much is certain. Nvidia must go above and above in order to keep the needle rising, and given its increased focus on custom CPUs, it may be prepared to take the lead in its next major total addressable market, TAM, in the hardware tier of the 5-layer cake. According to Nvidia, the CPU market is valued at an astounding $200 billion. Furthermore, early signs indicate Vera's quick success. The CPU opportunity may still be underestimated. A strong GPU is only as good as the CPU it is paired with as we approach an inference turning point. As Nvidia seeks to set the bar on AI processors even higher, possibly high enough to persuade consumers to stick with Jensen Huang and company, questions remain about whether anyone else can match Vera Rubin's outrageous performance and efficiency advantages. Agentic-first CPUs may be just as crucial as GPUs as the tech industry enters the agentic AI era. Furthermore, because Vera was created with agentics in mind, it appears that the new chip could become a major contributor that analysts may still be underestimating. The most intriguing thing is that Nvidia has only begun to explore a CPU market that it is more than capable of controlling. You can wager that the company can replicate the magic formula in CPUs if it can outperform the competition in GPUs. When the RTX Spark desktop processor is taken into consideration, It seems difficult to bet against the Nvidia roadmap as the company makes a significant impact on the CPU market. It's getting more difficult to wager against Jensen Huang. I do believe that few will be able to handle the pain of holding on to bearish put options or a short position, even as Dr. Michael Burry continues to be short Nvidia. This is especially true given that the shares appear to be undervalued, 33.5 times trailing price to earnings, and are likely to be snatched up by eager investors hoping to enter the next inning of the AI ballgame with possibly one of the best-positioned companies in the semiconductor space. Furthermore, despite its dominance and recent circular arrangements that may be more about exclusivity and devotion than the real potential for investment growth, the company currently appears to be among the least expensive names in the market. Michael Burry even referred to Nvidia as mafia-like, criticizing the company. Maybe there's a reason why so many people call Jensen Huang the godfather of AI. Perhaps loyalty and exclusivity will become the new motif as Nvidia seeks to further outperform its competitors in chips, given its extraordinarily potent chips and the emergence of a new growth market. The market is going to have a tremendous day on August 26th. Nvidia's financial results for the second quarter of its fiscal year 2027, which concluded on July 26th, will be released on this day. Given its dominance in the GPU, graphics processing unit industry, which is the most crucial hardware for training AI models, Nvidia is the most significant business in the ongoing AI revolution. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that the world of investing virtually stops when it releases its quarterly reports. The crucial question for investors is whether purchasing Nvidia stock is still worthwhile given the company's incredible recent success. We might be able to answer that question by attempting to forecast the stock's movement following the release of its second quarter financial results. Impressing the market has grown more difficult. The market recognized Nvidia's exceptional financial accomplishments in the early days of the AI boom by sending the stock skyrocketing following almost every quarterly report. But things have changed, and the market has adjusted. The company's trend over the last 5 quarterly updates is as follows. Nvidia's shares increased by almost 6%, following the release of its first quarter 2026 results in May 2025. Nvidia's second quarter 2026 report, which was released in August 2025, caused the stock to marginally decline despite a generally good performance. The stock originally increased upon the release of its third quarter 2026 results in November of last year, but ultimately reversed direction and fell almost 3%. When Nvidia's fourth quarter 2026 results were announced in February of that year, the stock fell by about 5%. Nvidia's stock dropped once more following the release of its first quarter fiscal year 2027 earnings in May. In other words, despite a few beat-and-raise quarters in recent memory, Nvidia hasn't experienced a significant post-earnings spike in a long time. It appears that the market has grown accustomed to Nvidia's spectacular quarters and is no longer particularly impressed by them. Therefore, don't expect the market to applaud Nvidia unless it can pull just a rabbit, but possibly an elephant, out of its figurative hat. After Nvidia issues its next earnings report, the response will probably be subdued or even somewhat negative. For the stock, what does that mean? Over the last 12 months, Nvidia's stock has increased by 23%, roughly matching the S&P 500. This year, it has increased by 18%, surpassing the growth of other stocks. The takeaway: Nvidia may produce strong returns even in the absence of notable post-earnings surges. Additionally, there are indications that the business might keep doing this. Many companies are sending the opposite message despite concerns that investment in AI infrastructure may decline. Alphabet, for example, recently raised its capex projection for 2026 from $180 billion to $190 billion to a new range of $195 billion to $205 billion. All of these indicators point to the possibility that experts' optimistic forecasts regarding expenditure on AI infrastructure will materialize, with Nvidia likely to be among the largest beneficiaries. The company is in a great position because, to its leadership in GPUs, new initiatives to capitalize on the growing need for CPUs, central processing units, caused by the agentic AI boom, and a large moat against switching costs. Will Nvidia continue to perform as well as it has in the last 3 years? Most likely not. However, the semiconductor expert is still a great long-term investment to profit from the AI revolution. Michael Burry is renowned for having foreseen the 2008 housing crisis. His pessimistic wager turned him become an oracle in the eyes of many outside the banking world as the economy collapsed. That choice is still what people remember about him now. Burry has become one of the most skeptical people on the planet regarding the present market surge and the AI craze that is responsible for nearly all of it. To prove his thesis, he added, "It is possible we are near a major top, and possible a 1987-type fall, but the S&P 500 making new highs likely will bring new money into the market." He was concerned that the market's boom would give those who think it will never stop rising more leverage. In part, Burry's worries about AI stem from the round-trip financing that has drawn criticism. For example, OpenAI receives funding from Nvidia, which it uses to purchase Nvidia CPUs. The last several months have seen an increase in this kind of transaction. Without a doubt, Burry has profited from his wagers against AI. Or so he claims. He recently claimed to have made money on short positions in the iShares semiconductor ETF, Palantir, Micron, Tesla, Caterpillar, and Applied Materials. His wager against Nvidia has not paid off. He did not, however, address the fact that investors earn money according on the dates of purchase and sale. Burry claims to have a strong track record. For what length of time can he short before his financial choices backfire? 2 months ago, AI stocks were out of style. For instance, compared to the beginning of the year, Palantir's stock fell precipitously in late June. Due to their blowout results announcement, it has increased by 22% in the past month. Burry opened a position in 2008 and eventually closed it, therefore he made money. He must now do it each time he decides to make an investment so that others can see. Is there a possibility that he may eventually profit from a wager similar to Palantir? Is there any assurance that his other quick decisions will be profitable?